everyone. As in our previous videos, we already introduced agents. Now it's a good time to introduce LangGraph. As we have already covered what agents are and how they work in a AI system, let's talk about a powerful tool that makes agent development to the next level, LangGraph. LangGraph is especially built for developers who want to design a powerful, reliable, and adaptable AI agent. If you ever tried building multi-step agent workflows, say a researcher agent that retrieves, verifies, and summarizes information, you know it can get messy fast. LangGraph makes this process structured and scalable. The easiest way to understand LangGraph is this. Let you define how your agent thinks and acts, step by step, just like designing a flowchart. Each step or node can perform a specific action like calling LLM, invoking a tool, or making a decision. And the flow from one step to the next, that's your graph. Let's break down a few key concepts that make LangGraph useful. The first one is graph-based logic. LangGraph uses a direct graph structure where each node is a distinct action, such as generate a response, check the output, or decide next step. This visual and logical structure make your agent behave easy to design, debug, and explain. The next one is state management. One of the biggest challenges in agent designing is maintaining context. LangGraph solves this by providing shared state management, so your agent remember everything it needs between steps. That include memory, previous answers, user input, tool output, even external data. So unlike stateless APIs, LangGraph let your agent think with continuity. The next one is multi-agent support. LangGraph is not just about single agent. It's great for multi-agent collaboration. You can build system where multiple agents work together, each handling specific task. For example, one agent plans, another writes, and another verifies. LangGraph coordinates their interaction and state sharing seamlessly. The next one is streaming. Streaming is something that incredibly valuable for user experience. LangGraph support token by token output, so user can see what the LLM is generating in real time. It also streams of intermediate steps, giving full visibility into what the agent is doing behind the scenes. So, in short, if you are serious about building intelligent agents that are modular, explainable, and production ready, LangGraph is a toolkit worth mastering. You will see how to use it hands-on shortly. We will see how to use it hands-on shortly, but keep in mind it's not just a tool, it's a framework for thinking about complex agent workflow in a structured, reliable way. Now that we have seen what LangGraph is and where it can be used, let's dive into key concepts, the building block that make it work. First one is state. In LangGraph, everything revolves around a shared data object called the state. Think of it like a blackboard that's all part of the graph can read from and write to. It stores everything, the user input, the current process, memory, tools output, and act as the input and output schema for all nodes and transition in the graph. So whether you are starting the flow or halfway through, the current state is what each function read to make decisions. The next one is node. Nodes in LangGraph are just regular Python function. Each one receives the state as its first argument and then return an updated version of the state, especially in a key called graph state. These functions do the actual work like calling a LLM, invoking a tool, updating memory, and so on. For example, a node might take the current query and fetch document from a vector store. It reads the query from the state and write the retrieve doc into the state. Then next we have edges. Edges are what connect node in a graph. There are two kinds of edges. First one is normal edge, which always move forward, like from node 1 to node 2. And another one is conditional edges, which allow for decision making. Maybe we go through one node if a check passes or another if it fails. This makes LangGraph flexible or dynamic routing based on the state value, a key requirement in adaptive agents. And the next is graph construction. To define the entire flow, LangGraph provides a class called stateGraph. Here what you typically do: define your custom state schema, add nodes and connect them using from start to end. Optionally compile the graph to validate your structure, and finally you can visualize it like a mermaid diagram, which are great for understanding the flow visually. Now to a quick recap: state holds your data, nodes do the thinking and acting, edges define the flow, and the state graph class ties it all together into one coherent agent. In our upcoming videos, we will be building a hands-on project where we use all those keywords so that you can understand how those keywords work in a LangGraph project. Now, before moving up to the hands-on project on LangGraph, first let's understand some use cases. The first one is complex RAG. LangGraph is perfect when you are combining RAG, especially in multi-step logic like retrieving document, filtering them, generating summaries, and verifying accuracy before showing results. The graph-based design helps structure each stage clearly and reliably. Next is multi-agent assistants. Imagine building a team of special agents like a researcher agent that gather information and a writer agent that craft the final response. LangGraph let you orchestrate them, define how they interact, and pass context between them seamlessly. The next one is human in loop approval system. For tasks that need oversight such as legal summaries, sensitive decisions, or content moderation, you can insert approval step directly into the graph. This gives you the perfect balance between automation and control. And the next one is custom AI copilots. You can build intelligent agents that behave differently based on the condition, like user role, task complexity, or even time of day. LangGraph let you define conditional paths, retrieve fallbacks to build copilots that feel truly adaptive. So, whenever you are building research tools, protective copilots, or regular workflow, LangGraph gives you the structure and control you need. So these are some use cases of LangGraph. In our next video, we are going to build a simple chatbot using LangGraph. Thank you.